Yo guys, what's going on and welcome back to another video. Today I'm about round number 5 of my F1 2017 career mode at the Spanish Grand Prix. It's been a while simply because I haven't had the time, but we are back with career mode today. And jumping straight into the practice sessions as always. My engine components you would have seen at the Russian Grand Prix, they were starting to wear, and throughout this race weekend they just got a hell of a lot worse and cost me a lot of speed, especially in a straight line. It wasn't too much of a big deal at this track given how aerodynamics really pays off, but down the main straight I did lose quite a bit of time and I really wasn't getting the potential out of the car. And you'll see now in the practice program, the qualifying run I should say, we could only manage green, so that just proves how much time we were losing with the engine components. And jumping straight into my fastest qualifying lap, you can see heavy rain conditions. So I wasn't feeling very confident about this lap.
A mechanical issue means you've lost one of the gears. Say again, you've lost access to one of the gears.
And as you heard Jeff there, just as I start my lap, just as I start the final lap of qualifying, we lose one of the gears, and I think it was 5th? Yeah, you can see I missed 5th there. So quite an important corner to lose around Spain. We managed to go purple in sector 1 somehow. Obviously the AI aren't as quick in the rain, so that gave me a slight advantage, but still losing 5th gear, just it's not helpful. It's really not when you're trying to get the best out of the car. But this lap overall, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't the best lap I've ever done, but it was a decent lap considering it's my first qualifying in the wet. I think it's my first qualifying in the wet. And with the engine components, I was actually pretty happy. We actually go purple in sector 2, so I can't believe I'm saying this, but as it stands, if we get a decent sector 3, we could potentially get a pole position at the Spanish Grand Prix here today in the heavy rain. We're coming through the 3rd sector now. I wasn't quick here all race weekend. I don't know why, but I just wasn't quick. I don't know. I feel like it was the line I was taking through these corners, but we lost so much time through the final sector. Coming around the final corner now, up to the line for the end of qualifying. We crossed the line, and I think I said P8. Yeah, we qualified P8. So that was qualifying. Let's have a look at the starting grid. So it was a very bizarre qualifying, and you'll see why as you run down the grid. It was Kimi Raikkonen taking pole position, with Ferrari making it a 1-2. Sebastian Vettel starting 2nd, Bottas 3rd. Verstappen will start 4th, Massa 5th, Kvyat all the way up in 6th, Magnussen 7th, we will start in 8th position. Fernando Alonso and Marcus Ericsson make the top 10, and that's because Ricciardo, Grosjean, Perez, Hulkenberg and Hamilton all didn't set a time in Q2. Ocon has a 5-place grid penalty, as does Carlos Sainz and Lance Stroll, with Van Dorn and Wehrlein making up the back of the field, but a very messed up grid. It could be an interesting race. Let's find out. So here we go. We have 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and lights out, and away we go. It's been a fairly decent start for us. We get Magnussen off the line. We're going to be side by side with him heading down to turn number 1. You can see we've got into the line, so we should be able to make the move on the Haas car. Are we going to make a move up the inside of Felipe Massa? We try and go for the dive bomb. A little bit of contact, we don't make the move stick, but we move up into 7th place out of the first couple of corners. Magnussen moves down to P number 8 with Ricciardo going up to P number 9, so we'll have to watch out for him in the next couple laps. He really should be challenging us fairly quickly, and we might be under pressure from him in about 3 laps time. But hopefully we'll be able to stay with Felipe Massa, and if we can just get the slipstream or DRS of a car down the straight, we should be able to stay with these guys. Obviously we're not quick in the straight line thanks to the engine components, but in the first few, you saw in qualifying in sector 1 and 2, we're actually quite quick, so hopefully we'll be able to stay on the back of this pack. But you can see we're on the medium tyre, so we're hoping to make up a few positions thanks to pit stops. We're hoping to jump at least the Toro Rosso of Kvyat ahead of us. And coming on to lap number 8 now, making up positions thanks to pit stops, and this is where our strategy starts to pay off. Moving up to P number 4 ahead of Sebastian Vettel and behind Verstappen, who's also on a medium tyre. So Verstappen obviously in a quicker car than us, but I'll keep an eye on what he does and see if he's on a similar strategy to me. I might be able to copy him, as he is quite far ahead, so I'll have plenty of time to decide if I'm going to come into the pit after him. We've also got the second Red Bull of Ricciardo behind us on the medium tyre as well, so I don't know if he's going to be able to catch me, but coming on to lap number 8, or coming on to lap number 9 now, making up more positions thanks to pit stops, and that's going to promote us to P number 3. So getting close to when I plan to come into the pit, and coming on midway through lap number 11, likes of Bottas, who was already pit obviously, has caught into the back of us, obviously in a much quicker car. We decide to go to the outside line for the hairpin, and we try and let him through, but he decides to take his time a little bit. We have to ease off on the exit, but he gets through. He might be able to get his DRS or slipstream down the straight, but I think actually we're going to come into the pit at the end of this lap. You can see already, even in Sector 3, how much he has pulled away from us. But with Ricciardo right behind us, I think we're going to come into the pit. Yes, we do. So we come into the pit for our first pit stop at the end of lap number 11. And I think we're going to put on another set of the medium tyres, if I remember correctly. We are going for the 2-stop. I didn't want to touch the hard tyres because I just hated them in practice. So I think the strategy I'm going for is medium soft. And yeah, we do put on a second set of the medium tyre. So keep an eye on the top left to see where we will come out. I wasn't actually too sure who I was racing at this stage of the race. A little bit delayed on the pit limiter. But Ocon gets out in P number 9. Will we get out in P number 10? We've got a car coming up around our outside, and it's Lewis Hamilton who dances around our outside at turn number 1, and we fall back to P number 11. Hopefully Hamilton can chase down Ocon and we can challenge the Force India later on in this race. And that's exactly what's happened. Ocon, I don't really know, he seemed quite slow for some reason, and I'm not really too sure. I don't know if he had worn engine components as well. We put alongside him down the main straight, and we actually don't have the top speed to actually overtake him. We have to go up his inside into turn number 1, but we make the move stick fairly easily. He doesn't put up too much of a fight, and that's us back up into P number 10, and we're actually going to gain more positions thanks to pit stops once again. Go up to P number 7, I believe, or was that P number 8? Yeah, it's going to be 8th place for us as Ricciardo gets ahead of us on the hard tyre, but I wasn't too fussed by that. I knew he was quicker than me. But on the next lap, we do go up to 7th position thanks to pit stops once again, and I was trying to stretch out these mediums as far as they could go, so I could push on the softs at the end just as much as I wanted. We actually go to P number 6 thanks to pit stops once again, and jump to the end of lap number 25, the start of lap number 26. We come into the pit for our final stop, and it's going to be the soft tyre for us. We're in a decent position at the moment. If we can keep up the pace, obviously we'll have a lot of pace on the soft tyre, but we're looking good for a decent haul of points for Renault today if we can get some decent laps in at the end of the race. It's a decent stop from the team, and where are we going to get out? Keep an eye on the top left. We're currently 8th position. Are we going to stay 8th as we come out of the pit exit? Looking in our mirrors, and I don't think anyone's going to challenge us, so we do get out in 8th position, and that's currently 4 points for Renault. So if we can hold on to this position, I'm sure the team will be very happy with that result. But we're actually catching on to the back of the Force India of Sergio Perez. You can see just how much we close in the braking zone alone, and it's looking like we're going to take him down the straight. This Force India really doesn't seem quick at the start of the season. It's very much the 7th slowest team. I mean, Renault seem to be quicker, and Williams at times seem to be quicker, and Haas certainly are quicker than the Force India. So coming round the final corner, it looks like we're going to take him down the straight. He pulls away ever so slightly at the penultimate corner, but round the final corner he just loses all momentum. DRS and slipstream to help us. Moving to the inside, and it's looking like a very similar overtake to Ocon. Perez actually locks up, and we go up the inside into turn number 1. That's us happened to P7 with Hamilton up in 6th. 7th is going to be the best we're going to get this race. However, midway through lap number 28, we had a few problems. You can see my control electronics are really red, and you can see I'm revving out the engine now. I lost complete control of my gears at this stage. I was trying to shift up, I was trying to shift down, but the game was just picking the gears for me, and I had absolutely no control at all over my gears. We lost the gear in qualifying, and it wasn't actually too major, but losing complete control of your gears during the race, and during quite an important stage of the race, it's quite painful to drive at this stage. You can see revving out in 6th, finally going up to 7th. Perez gets past us because his gears are working, and we have to take turn 1 in 7th because that's what the car decides. We have to take it in. And we're going to lose another position to Grosjean, who just breezes past us very easily. Hulkenberg now comes up and is going to try on the outside at turn number 3. I don't really want to hold him up too much, and thanks to my gears, I don't. He goes straight past us up into 9th place. So he's looking good for his first points of the season, but we are certainly not looking good. 4 points here today in Spain. Now coming back on to the most painful part of the circuit for us at this stage of the race. Not being able to shift up, Magnussen is easily going to get past us, as does Carlos Sainz, although a little bit close to the Toro Rosso there. Sainz and Magnussen going side by side through turn number 1, so if the car pick just gave me the right gear, I might be able to gain a position. I don't really know why at this stage. I mean, down in 12th place, we could still get 1 point if my gears start working. We've actually come back at Carlos Sainz as the car decides we're going to take that corner in the right gear, and we somehow managed to get Sainz back up into 11th place, but I'm sure we're going to lose it straight away in the next couple of corners. But yeah, you can see smoke really coming out the back of my car quite a bit. This was painful. There's literally nothing I could do. I could just do lap after lap and lose a heap of time. Sainz gets back past us. You can see that was the Ferrari of Raikkonen coming to lap us now. So not only do we have major car issues and we drop out the points, it's looking likely we're not even going to finish on the lead lap this race. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say really. This was probably the worst timed engine problem I could possibly have. Raikkonen right behind us, and I'm sure shouting in his radio blue flags, but I'm sure once we get onto the straight he will easily get past me. And yeah, this was the key moment in this race. I just moved to the inside because obviously I'm not going to be able to match the speed of Ferrari. I can't even do that with a working gearbox. We're heading down to turn number 1 now. We actually go to the racing line. Sainz going very slowly on the apex. We're going to try and go around the outside at turn 1, and we actually manage it. And on the exit of turn 1, our gears come back to us. We finally regain control. You can see shifting up properly there, and we were in 11th place. I knew Magnussen was going to get lapped, so I decided to push like hell for the final 3 laps and just see if I could get that final point. Hopefully Raikkonen can really hold up Magnussen when lapping him, and he does, as we come on to lap number 32, which is actually our final lap as we are lapped. Unfortunately, I just didn't have the straight line speed at this stage to challenge Magnussen. You can see right into the back of him through the hairpin, but if we weren't lapped, then we certainly could have taken him down the main straight, but just because of the length of the second straight, we didn't stand a chance. So we're going to come home in P number 11 unless there's penalties, but I certainly doubt that. Cutting the final corner, or penultimate corner. Checkered flag is out. Raikkonen wins the Spanish Grand Prix. We come home in a disappointing P11 with smoke following us for about half that race, I'd say. And yeah, a rather disappointing end to a brilliant start at the Spanish Grand Prix. So here are the full race results for you. Raikkonen takes the win, and it's a finish 1-2 with Bottas coming home in second. Sebastian Vettel in third, making it a double Ferrari podium. The Red Bulls pick up 4th and 5th, so a decent result for them. Hamilton all the way down in 6th after starting 15th, I think he did. So actually a decent drive for Hamilton. Grosjean comes home in 7th, with Hulkenberg picking up his first points of the season. 4 points for him in 8th position. With Sergio Perez coming home in 9th, and Kevin Magnussen once again scoring points for Haas. And there we are in a disappointing P11. Very unfortunate not to score at least 1 point there, but moving on to the drivers' standings. Not a lot of change at all in the drivers' standings. Hamilton still leads 86 points, but just 1 point ahead of Sebastian Vettel now. Raikkonen 2 points behind him, so very close at the top of the table. The top 3 separated by 3 points. Bottas in 4th, the only one of the top 2 teams not to win a race yet, so it's looking like he's slowly falling out of the title battle. The 2 Red Bulls of Verstappen and Ricciardo remaining in 5th, very much in the middle of nowhere, much like their constructors' position. We somehow still managed to hold on to 7th despite Grosjean picking up a decent haul of points. He moves up to 8th position, ahead of Felipe Massa on 14 points. And Magnussen remains in 10th, consistently scoring points at each race, so Haas doing incredibly well at the start of this season. Now looking at the lower end of the table, Perez in 11th on 10 points, Lance Stroll remains on 4 points, as does Esteban Ocon. Nico Hulkenberg finally getting some points on the board at the 5th race of the season, also on 4 points, so 3 different drivers on 4 points there. And obviously Kvyat with that sole point for Toro Rosso, moving down to 15th, with surprisingly Sainz being the only one not to score points, with exception of the bottom 2 teams. Finally looking at the Constructors' Championship, Ferrari taking the lead with a double podium finish here in Spain. 168 points for them, with Mercedes falling back ever so slightly on 159. As we mentioned, Red Bull in the middle of nowhere, 99 points for them. Haas actually increasing the lead on Renault, who move up to 5th, so Haas looking quite comfortable in that 4th place position, 6 points ahead of Renault. Williams moved down to 6th for not scoring points here today, with Force India, despite scoring points, remaining in 7th position on 14 points, 4 points behind Williams. They need a strong finish sooner or later this season. And lastly, Toro Rosso with that sole point, remaining in 8th position, with McLaren and Sauber still yet to score points this season. Well guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you did enjoy, remember to smash the like button and subscribe if you're new on here. Thank you guys for watching, and see ya!